bringing people with disabilities, don't have a disability, together, enjoying life in the area. We all have different abilities, and here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into this topic of abilities. The concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, the list goes on. We all have our own experience with whether own or with people we know or people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. I am excited to have a guest returning to us this evening, a friend of the show, been with us before, but it's been a little while. So for some proper introductions, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Emily to take on the mic and introduce our guest. Emily, over to you.
I'm not exactly sure what happened to my camera at the moment. But anyway, our guest tonight is named Nate Chaucier from California. And he does like accessibility for websites, like website accessibility. So this is awesome. So thank you, Nate, for so hand over to you. Say more. Any more you'd like to say, or any?
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it. I love coming here. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, can you describe a little bit more about background, what you all do? Very important, and I appreciate the insights that you have.
Well, about 20 years ago, I had to retire speech therapist. I was in a little accident, an auto accident that wasn't bad, but it just made me not able to job. So I retired from that early, and I had time on my hands. So I started playing around websites. So that's how I got started in the website. And then I heard, and I worked with many with disabilities, mostly children. And then I heard that websites were not accessible to the disabled unless they were modified. And I was like, why didn't I think of that before? I got mine adapted. And then I realized I wanted to help other people adapt it to be accessible. So it's really important to me that all websites become accessible, just like we have ramps anywhere there are stairs, so that people with wheelchairs get into the building. We all accessible so that people can use them.
And what types of things tend to be kind of the common errors that you find on websites? And I don't know if error is the right word, but common things that can be or modified so that they are more accessible.
Well, the first one that comes to mind is all videos need to have closed captioning. Hearing here, however they describe, they need closed captioning. And I need it too sometimes. I mean, I just love it because then I know for sure what he says. So it's a great thing to have on a video. There are some other things like back. Sometimes the font, when you go to read a text, you need it to really be contrast against the background. White contrast really a lot, and that helps everybody to be able to read it. The size of the font, and I would say at least 16, and that helps right there. And one thing about enlarged on their screen, right? That makes things go off the edge of the school that adapts it so that the font gets bigger, but it doesn't go off screen. Nor do the pictures, but the font gets bigger.
That sounds amazing, actually. Because what kind of tool is this?
It's a tool developed for website accessibility, and it's easily put on a website. It's just very easy to take care of it on, and it is all that really shows is a little button, unless someone were to click on that button. Then a menu comes up, and I mean, I could share the screen and show you and describe it.
Yeah, if you can share your screen, that would be wonderful, and then describe what you're seeing there. Because yeah, if it's as simple as you adding a button to what's there, and it makes it for everybody to see, that is as simple as it gets.
Yes. So on the screen is a button on the left-hand side, but it put it on. This button happens to be blue with it's yellow icon on it, which is recognizable to people as something that would be helping with accessibility. So then a person would click on it, it opens up with a list of everything you could have done to the site to help you. A lot of it is really fun. And I'll just go through a couple of them. Just safe mode. It dampens color and removes visually. It dampens the color. If I had this, it would stop the video because movement, flashing. So we don't want that. So this makes it safe for everyone with epilepsy. Well, visual impaired mode, it brighter. So the last one made it more muted colors. This for epilepsy, this one for visually impaired makes it so that there's more contrast. I was talking about contrast earlier. And the more contrast with the font in the background, people can better turn that off. And friendly mode is a fun one. It has a bar that goes across, basically the whole, so that you only see like one or two lines to just have, or anybody who wants to just focus on a small content, do that without being so distracted by the rest of the website. Websites can be overwhelming with a lot of content on it. So this is helpful to a lot of people. And as far as blindness goes, if someone is a reader, which is what blind people tend to use when they get online, this will automatically they know to press a key when they get on the website, a keyboard, and that automatically adapts site to their screen reader so that all the photos, all the images described, and the screen reader just stuck. It can keep going. Let's see. I'm going to show you the dyslexia font. Here we go. Now the dyslexia font, if you look at the letters, they're weighted to the bottom, so they're thicker at the bottom. And surprisingly, that helps people with dyslexia read. I have one client who was excited about this tool. They get on his website, and I demonstrated him. And I didn't know, but he has dyslexia, and he was just over the moon with that usability. What website could have this on there? And he read the font quite well with that. He says, I can read this so well. So these things are important really to a lot of people. There's a lot of people with dyslexia and even color blindness. You could, of course, on this matter, unless looks the same as gray, you still have a gray background with blue in front. I can tell the difference. Somebody with might not. So you can adjust the text color to be black. You can make the background not blue, make it yellow. Oh, that's the title color, sorry. This is the background. So yellow now contrasts with the blue, and yellow is in the background. So that if somebody sees blue is the same color or white are on the website, they can change that background color, and it will help them be able to see it. So even, things that we don't think about, color blindness, things like that. I just reset the tool so that it goes back to the original. And also you can see that the original hasn't changed. It's the same. So it's the same for everybody looking at it.
I mean, we're on Zoom as we're doing describe. You and I are seeing each other, and actually kind of blown away. I know I've heard about it before, but I know for me personally, I am a very visual learner, and to be a way to actually receive the information site in a way that works for the person who's looking at the website. What an amazing difference. Saying if who is dyslexic, that they hunt so that it's easier for them to read. It's just those things where I don't have that experience myself, so I don't understand exactly how that makes that difference. But obviously, it does make that difference. So any adaptation that's available and at your fingertips to be able to make it that your entire audience can get the information that you're trying to share, I'm kind of stunned actually that it's that simple. It's something where you add that in, and then it makes it accessible for everyone. I'm sitting here like that's a no-brainer. That to make things to be truly accessible to everybody is amazing. And I'm surprised there's not more websites that have that built in. It's like that would be a very sensible thing to do.
Yes, it is. And I'm adapting this type of tool. You can see the buttons on their site toward the side.
I wonder how many people know that this exists. So I'm glad we're able to have a conversation like this to share that this is a tool that's out there. It's a possibility to have a website do these things so that not just your the quote people, right? Those that don't have a need, what it's all about here. It's like where that intersection is of, I know what I'm used to. I know what works for me. What works for me isn't necessarily going to work for the next. And to be able to have a tool that actually does work for everybody, it's able to be utilized in whatever fashion works for. That's kind of blowing me away that it actually has all those different pieces. It's not just blind. It's not just something to help somebody who is visually impaired. It really is hitting so many different possibilities. I'm actually, the first one you showed or that you shared was a way to adjust a web, somebody who has epilepsy in their that is something I've thought about that before, where I go to a website and flashing lights, or there's different things. Automatically the video, whatever video is on the site, starts playing, and there's so many things that can be happening with that. That crossed my mind, because I know individuals that deal with that themselves, and literally crosses my mind of how can they go see this website? They how could they? Because this could be a trigger for them that would be a negative, and they are not going to want to be going to that website because it could badly affect them. There's a way to fix that, to help that. And is that somebody able to put together? And so having something like this added to their website, is it? Are there distributors that offer? How is that incorporated?
And you just you arrange with this end where the coding is, and it's really simple. It takes maybe not even 5 minutes
to have that big of a difference and reach to more audiences. I just think that's a fabulous thing that's available. Is really what a difference that it's definitely not equivalent, but we're water skiers. We are all about sharing our sport, and we have to be able to do that. The sit ski is one of the tools. There's actually several available to adapt a sport to be able to be enjoyed by people of all different abilities. And here you're sharing a tool that is making it so that a website. I mean, how many people use websites? Like, pretty universal, especially in the United States here, that we have accessible, have the access to the internet and the information that is out there, but to be able to actually access it when you have these different types of abilities. Again, like you're saying, if you have blindness or you have whatever it may be that your challenge is, to be able to get the information from a website, that there is a tool out there that can make websites accessible. I just think that's fabulous. People that you've talked to, I know you did share a person that has dyslexic, has difficulties with reading normal text and everything on a website because dyslexic. So stories that maybe you could share, others that have utilized the tool and have had such an impact on their experience.
Well, it's interesting you should. I was just thinking of a story that I didn't experience myself, but from a reliable source. There was a website that was about track and field, and the owner of the website, I heard people with disabilities went on his site.
Oh, wow.
Ludicrous. But anyway, sorry to judge. Anyway, so it turns out, yes, a blind person was wanting to access that site. And I think that it ended up that he went ahead and got the adaptation for his web. He just didn't. And that's why I want to get the word out. This can be done.
And it seems simple too once you have it. If someone feels put down there. once you have it on there, it's like only what, clicks or something, and then you're able to, yeah.
Able to take advantage of what's there.
Exactly, just a couple clicks.
Yeah. Like when you said at the beginning how to get into a building that to be getting to your information on a website to be able to have the tool happen. Such a simple thing. I love it. So
inclusivity, it's inclusivity, not leaving anybody out.
That's beautiful. And so I know we're kind of at the beginning of the year here. Do you look forward into this upcoming year? Do you see technology-wise? Are you seeing anything on the horizon, or is it more at this point just getting this to be warm? I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I think getting this to be more than the norm. As I mentioned before, I'm seeing more and more, that they have a tool. My tool is not the only one, but so there's other distributors with other tools about the same as I described. Get the idea clear that how needed this is, and not only that, not only is it the right thing to do, and it's so needed. Getting traffic to your site, because if you have a site, the search engines don't like that. And they are less likely to show your site people. So you don't want people leaving the site anyway. But not being accessible, people will be leaving it for that reason.
Yeah, especially if they can't read it or see what's on there or anything like that. They won't stay very long, I would think.
Exactly. It won't stay very long.
Excellent. Awesome. So you have coming up then this coming year, are there other things in place or other technology type things that you've seen that for people to know about?
I've been just so focused on this that I haven't paid attention to others.
That's okay. I mean, this is huge. Actually, what you're is a massive new thing.
Yeah.
Not entirely new. I know you've been working with it for a while, but to a lot of people, this will be a completely new concept that this is an option out there to be able to make using to everyone of it. I was just thinking here with our I mentioned skiing before. Can you believe, even though it's just the first part of February, we're already starting to talk about ski season on our end. Our club in Pewaukee is just started out last night already with doing some land practice. So ski season is already in the back of my mind as far as what we're going to be doing with adaptive dates started and events happening. I have events, at least one in Pewaukee. There will definitely be dates down in Burlington on Browns Lake. Hope our usual date up at our state tournament in July up at near Red Sands Beach. That's where the state tournament takes place. We're on the other end of the lake, actually doing some adaptive skiing out there. So, gotta ask, have you ever skied, Nate?
No, I have not, and I'm not a great swimmer, so it's a lot of it right there.
We all wear life jackets. We always keep it safe for everybody. I appreciate that comment though, because that is something that they pretty often, if they've never done anything like this, kind of who swims much, it's intimidating to think about doing something out on the lake. And I totally appreciate that. That's something where we should talk sometime. That would be a fun thing to try, possibly. Love to share a sport with everybody, no matter what their abilities are and where they're starting. That was actually something fun last night to get to work with some people that knew in the sport.
Wow. What do you do about balance? Not everybody has great balance. me?
Yep, great question. So with the adaptive skiing we do with stand-up skiing balance, you can do stand-up skiing and then have on either side of them and do various whether it's go underneath your arm, kind of in your armpit area, just to help. Then all they have to worry about is what's going on with their feet. Or there's also what they call a boom around, where a rope would normally go from the middle pylon so you can ski behind it. This boom actually goes so that you can use that as that metal bar as a handle instead of a rope handle. The rope handle is floppy, right? So if you can use this metal bar instead, it takes that floppiness away. You are literally just a few feet away from the dock to the boat, and they can talk to you on the side of the boat spot there, hanging onto that bar and learning how to ski a lot easier. Like I said, with a rope is all floppy and adds a whole nother variable, and it makes it a lot easier to learn. And the pieces in place. So where do you put your feet? How do you balance? And it's that variability away, and it makes it a lot easier. Too much of an issue. We also have that sit ski where you can actually sit down and enjoy the skiing experience from a seated position. So there's lots of options with all that, and that's where it's fun too to figure out what's going to be the best fit. So I always like these different in my mind it's kind of different analogies of what I do in this, and to be able to see how you're doing things to adapt what you're adapting web to work for everybody. We try to do the same, like in our sport, to how can we adapt this. There was even one young lady that with brittle bone disease that she is not necessarily for. She and her mom, we teamed up, and she was very interested in trying this, and we made it work for her. We figured out with mom's help how to do the correctly, how to do what needed to be. There was a lot that went into it. It wasn't just a little, there was a lot that went into that to figure out the best scenario for her. And she went times over the years, and it was so much fun and such a thrill for her. From what she, from skiing next to her and hearing her, seeing the smiles and all with that. For the most part, where there's a will, there's a way. So it is such a pleasure having you here with us again, Nate. I love hearing these updates that are taking place, all the possibilities, so that people, if they have ever felt like they can't do what somebody else is doing because of some quote unquote limitation, just because their abilities are different or worse, they're just different, and they may need to access websites in a different way. And I'm just so grateful to know that there are other ways that make that it is functional and accessible for everyone. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And as always, with AbilityMKE Now, we thank